What's up, relay friends? It is World Championship week. It is the week that we have been waiting for 52 weeks. It's the week that we pretend we're not waiting for all winter. It's the week that we pretend we're not waiting for all spring when we just, we go round after round of track race and we try to pretend like it matters. But this week matters. We are here.
Is it the GST final? Too
Matt,
soon?
I still have a
Too
soft
soon.
spot in my heart. Too soon. Matt is referencing something that was known in the first half of 2025 as Grand Slam track. RIP, let it be known that we cared about it. But mostly we cared about it because we're big fans of anyone who's willing to try to extend the sensation that we have this week to other weeks of the year. And so Lindsey Hein, Matt Chittim, and I have been texting all weekend as, how do you guys feel about the Tokyo time zone? I feel like it's working really well for me on the West Coast.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. It's really
I'm
good.
surprised you say that, though, because there's been some races that start at like 6:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. So that'd be like 3:30.
Oh, you're right.
Time.
Sorry, I don't watch track at 3:30. I do get up. I'll watch a 6 a.m., a 5:45 a.m. track race, like pump it into my veins. Let's go. But
it's funny because you're like close. It's funny because like the time zones are working against you because you're like closer to Tokyo if you just went like west. The whole like.
But yeah.
Matt, we don't need a geography lesson. This is too much thinking.
Matt thinks going west is just like inherently funny. He's like, if you just like went west, I'm like, yes, Tokyo's west of me. Like,
well, I'm just saying, like,
Here's the thing.
like the time zone distance from you to Tokyo is because it goes the other direction is enhanced. Is my point.
Here's the thing, though. I have still found myself. Okay, so one of my sons is into this. He's been watching a lot of the races with me. Like he watched all 3 of the women's steeplechase races.
Is this the one that has a crush on Gabby Thomas?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
he is a well-rounded track fan.
Yes, he is.
Seriously.
Very much so. Yeah, he's 10. He's the one that wore my super shoes and ran like the 22-minute 5K. He's invested.
He's got a bright future. Watch out, Colt Goucher.
Yeah. You've worked. His 22-minute 5K is like one of the. If we had AI measuring the storylines that have been mentioned multiple times on Relay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
So anyway, me trying to explain to him, because the other kids don't really care, what World Championships is compared to the Olympics. Like I'm trying to get him, and I'm like, as I'm explaining this to him, I'm like, this is what we're trying to explain to the world. What I'm trying to explain to my 10-year-old, like why this is still a really big deal. I'm like, buddy, this is like the top 3 Americans. They had to qualify at this race. They also had to have the standard to get here. And now they're competing with the best athletes all over the world.
Wait, is that the description of the Olympics or the World Championships?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're like, he's like, well, why isn't it as like big of a deal as the Olympics? I'm like, I don't know. It's just not, but this is still a big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's no other sport. There's no other sports. That's why it's just track.
Yeah. He doesn't totally get it, but I am trying to explain like how it is such a great honor to represent your country at the World Championships, even if it's not the Olympics.
And every other sport has World Championships too. It's not just, this is just what we do.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. Did the way I described that sound confusing?
Well, you described it like he's confused and you're sort of confused.
It sounds like you were empathizing with his confusion because the way you described it, he's like, so you're talking about the Olympics? He's like, no, I'm talking about the World Championships. Like it's the same
those happen
process.
every 2 years, but every fourth year is the Olympics, and then every 4 years we also have a year that has nothing. Like what? Come on!
I want to hear Peter explain it to his son, Will.
These are the best runners in the world, and they compete together once a year.
Okay.
And then I just assume he's not going to pay attention next year.
He's not going to care.
The World Classic money grab thing.
Unless we're talking about the marathon, Will, in which case there are some complicating factors about who decides to go.
There are some money bag factors involved.
Well, all right, this is the perfect segue. The money bag factors involved. There's only one way to segue from that comment, Peter, and that is to the comment that was made after Cole Hawker was potentially DQ'd. So Kara Goucher was on the call, and I forget the individual who was announcing with her. I should know his name because he does all the other races. And I'm like 95% sure his name, but I'm like 5% not sure, so I'm not going to say it. Anyway, his reference after the call, after Cole Hawker finishes second and ultimately was DQ'd, but this was before that judgment was announced. Goes, I can guarantee you that someone from the Great Britain team is walking around with a bag of money, hoping someone is going to change the outcome of this race, or something to the effect of that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that was a bold statement to make on like international television. Like, okay,
No, wait. Do you know the reference?
I guess I don't.
All protests have to be made in cash with the form and dollar bills, is my understanding. That's
So
why they're referencing.
I thought he was just speaking like
He's saying they're going to
euphemistically
pay him off
about the state of the sport.
how-
I didn't realize that there was an actual registration.
They try
fee.
to make it a pay in. It's like, I don't know where it comes from. We'd have to go look it up. Like, they try to make it a pain in the ass to make a formal complaint. Like, if it was just free to, like, people just complain all the time. Like, I don't know. I don't like how he looked in his uniform. He should be disqualified. So they make you pay traditionally, $50, $100, $150.
So
$200.
not a bag of money, then a very small amount.
I think,
money.
yeah, grab
Okay.
and that was, so I mean, my friends are all now texting me like they're normal people going about their day, and they're just now hours later learning that Cole Hawker put himself in a traffic jam entering the final 200, and he's used to the tunnel opening up for him to teleport through or zoom
Lane
through.
one, let's go.
It always opens up until other people learn that that's your tactic, and they just stay in lane one. And so then I give him a lot of credit. He's super fit. He's super fast. And I give him credit post the bad racing he did to say, like, screw it. I might as well make it a judgment call, and I'm just going to zoom through. It's such a heartbreaker to both see how well he ran that final 50 and then know he won't be in the final, because he clearly yanked the guy, impeded
Was he
is
just
our.
like throwing bows? Like I actually
He
haven't
squeaked
seen
his
it
way
yet.
through in a
through.
manner that that Farkin from Germany, he just like, if it's impossible, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. He took all of Farkin's momentum and he shot forward, and Farkin went rocking backwards. Farkin was falling apart anyways, and probably was going to be surprising to hang on, but we'll never know. So
Never know.
actually, I
So
don't know
what
if they're
place
gonna.
does Farkin end up getting?
He ended
if
up
Cole's
finishing right
disqualified?
behind the pack.
So
He
maybe
was like
8th or
7th or
9th?
8th. I don't.
Yeah.
Did they say? I have to go look up whether they have moved him to the final yet.
I don't
But
think they
that's the
did.
men's 1500 prelims, which
Wow.
guys, the
Our
1500 is the best
Olympic
event
gold
ever.
champion is out.
He's out. But he didn't put himself in good. You could hear Kara's voice. I just went and watched it again on NBC. Her disappointment, like, he put himself in
Aw.
that bad position. You can't do that. And I like how she's done
She's
such
so
a great
good.
job of
And
like
Farkin
striking
has
this
advanced. I
balance.
apologize. Yeah, Farkin has
Okay.
advanced.
Oh, nice. Thank you for looking that up. She's done a nice job of balancing, like, her deep knowledge with also some empathy. Like, she
Mm.
could never do that in her career. She's like, she doesn't come off like a Stephen A. Smith, like, everyone knows you ought to be able to. She's like, if you're going to be a world's best 1500 meter runner, you can't put yourself in those positions. And you're like, yeah.
And she called it out 100 meters before the incident. Like, she's halfway through the curve, 150 to go. She just says flat out, Cole Hawker is in an awful position right now.
Yeah.
Like, things are going to have to open up for him because he is completely blocked. And that bore out completely. Again, we've seen these races where, like, it looks like there's not going to be an avenue. And then with 50 meters to go, there's like, wow, look at all this space that has materialized. In both 1500 meter races, that was not the case. It was people like, you were basically 8 abreast or so in like 3 lanes. And it was like, there wasn't the gaps that we've seen in other races. And especially in Cole Hawker's case, like some of the biggest races of his career, all of a sudden the HOV lane opens up and he's like, heading on in. And then here we go.
But it makes me think that the 1500 meters is A, the best event in running, and B, like, racing in the first round versus the second round versus the final. Like, he famously forever won the Olympics following the other 2 best guys in the world, and they shift. Whereas if you put yourself right behind the dude from, I'm forgetting where, Spain, maybe he starts to fall apart, you've like hitched yourself as a wagon to a train that's just gonna slow down. So it's just different tactics each time. Man, my favorite maybe moment in running history was in 2011 when Matt Centris was at the World Championships, and he did this move that's very difficult to pull off, where he basically moved the mass of his body into the infield while still keeping his feet on the track. And it was at the Daegu World Championships, and he was still an Oregon student. And I was like, okay, this guy has some moves I've never seen before, because he just basically it's not illegal to lean into the infield. You just can't put your feet there. So that's basically what Cole would have needed to do. And he didn't pull it off. He tried some other move that is
Oh, he
illegal.
had like just leaned to get out of people's way.
Yeah, he's like, whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, ultimately, and there's no way for him to know this in the moment, is that if he had just stayed patient and then gone to the right, he would have had space. But then you don't know that in the moment, and it would have been an article of faith to do that. And as Kara said, like, he put himself in a position to get passed by people coming onto his right, and it happened in droves. And like all of a sudden, he was just stuck. And I mean, like you said, Peter, it is a shame that it came down to this, because not only did he like make that move where he like makes contact with another runner, and it wasn't incidental contact, it was deliberate contact that affected that person's race. With that said, he did that and then like torpedo to the front, and then the last 10 meters steps off the gas and basically ties for the win. So like he clearly was incredibly fit going into this race. Kara made a point, I think like one lap in, like as soon as Cole took the lead at the 300-meter mark or 200-meter mark, she basically said everything that he's done this entire year has led up to this. Like he's had some disappointing races earlier in the year. They weren't necessarily disappointing. Like he was trying to peak for this weekend, and that was always the goal. And like to hear that, and then like literally 3 minutes later to see what happened, you're like, that's unfortunate. Again, you can't blame anybody but him, but it's still like it does rob us sporting fans and him as well. Not rob him, but like it robs us of watching the best of the best in the moment. And obviously part of that is also seeing Jakob Ingebrigtsen for other reasons not be at his best this weekend. And him not getting out of the first round of the 1500-meter, which for different reasons
That was wild.
Equally like shocking.
Is he sick? Is he injured? What's going on? Glenn was like, maybe he's just too old. I was like, he's 24.
It's nice to have you around, Lindsey, because like your female bias is so heavy. It's so strong. Like, friends, I didn't want to ruin it for anyone who hadn't seen it, but I texted the steeplechase, OMG. And Lindsey texted back, I know all 3 US women made it through to the final. This was at 6:10 this morning. And I'm like, yeah, not really the thing. I'm just like 10 exclamation points. I was out over the moon, out of my mind about Gordy Beamish. But at the time, Lindsey just thought it was like about some females that she's had on her show making it through to the final. Jakob Ingebrigtsen has been injured.
Okay, to be fair, I've only had one of those 3 on my show, and
but they're all welcome to come on if you're listening to this.
Everyone watches women's sports, Peter.
Everyone watches women's sports. It's true. People, I think we think that Jakob Ingebrigtsen is somehow otherworldly. Like he hasn't raced all year. He's had an Achilles injury. He's posted a lot of cheeky videos online, but did not have it when it came time.
Yeah, and he was injured, but at the same time, I think you always expect he just has such a long, like, he's put so many years of like, I'm the best in the world, and if not, I'm tied for the best in the world, that at some point you're like, all right, I expect him to get out of the first round. Like this guy's like the greatest.
That's why that's been so awesome. Like you got, I mean, you got guys who are, you got Ethan Strand, who couldn't make it to the final, didn't make it to the final, but man, you don't want to be around him when he's kicking.
I just kind of thought even on a bad day, like he's making it through the first round for sure. I just did want to like defend myself one more time. I purposely made sure to share Clayton Young in my stories because I was like, I got to give the men's marathon some love. A
little bit of love.
Too. And he did write me back and he said, thanks, Lindsey, ... That hurt. like how bad the race hurt. Like his body hurt so bad. And then I did share something from the mixed 4x1 relay. So there was men and women in that story that I shared. But all my other stories have been women. So
what about the mixed 4x1 was like, this definitely is at the top of my...
Just that they won gold.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And there was, I think it was, I'm feeling really sentimental and really like all the feels about the hugging. And so
Oh,
I think it was like a good hug picture. And I was like, that makes me feel happy. I hope it makes you feel happy if you see it too.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
I'm ready to talk though, if we're ready to talk
All
about
right.
the marathon.
Well, let's do it. I think the hugging part is great because the hug after the women's marathon was epic. These, Paris Chepchirchir and Asefa have gone at it multiple times. They're absolute legends, and it was really
That was wild.
It was, again, we'll get to the men's race later. I remember watching the women's race being like, I can't believe it's happening again. After the Olympics last year, I can't believe it's happening again. I'm never going to see anything like this ever again. 21 hours later, I saw the exact same thing. But,
Twice. You saw it twice.
Right.
For the men's and the women's.
That's what I mean. I think I'll see it again. Then I saw it again the very next day. My goodness, it was amazing.
I really thought Asefa was going to get it because the Kenyan runner, what's her name?
Paris Chepchirchir.
Paris. Chepchirchir.
Yeah, Paris. She just looked in more pain to me. So I was like,
okay.
I thought she was done.
Yeah,
I
she
thought
emotes
Asefa
very different. Asefa is stone-faced, and Paris is the opposite. She's very emotive.
She's showing her emotions on her face. Yeah, for sure. I was surprised to see that. But when she went, that
she had she grinded the teeth like right before she made her move.
Ooh,
she was like,
I'm
game
going.
time.
Yeah.
I was
That
making
was
me
so
nostalgic for how long we've been doing this relay podcast, because when she won the London Marathon a couple years ago, that's when she like moved to the side, and this was like go gadget arms and zip to the front. So like we have been documenting a decent amount of Paris Chepchirchir's career. She has that ability to just like go for it. And like Matt, like that's what you're saying. I don't want to jump back and forth between the two marathons too much, but the next day in the final like 200, I'm like, okay, which one of them is just going to go like kinetically like pumping their arms? I know the end of a marathon is exhausting, but you're just waiting for the signs of their like muscle tension that someone's actually going to kick. And both people who managed that won first place. So pretty awesome.
Well, last night I said, because we have our group text where we're all talking, I said, don't ruin anything. I'm pausing it. I'm going to put my kids down. And I come back to a text that Peter just says OMG or something like that.
That was me. I did the OMG.
Not ruining it.
I didn't ruin anything.
I know it didn't ruin it, but I have to say, you got my hopes up, because I was like, did Clayton like bust into the podium? Like, because I left early enough that there was a lot of race left, and he was in the top 10. So
purposely
I was like,
ambiguous. You had no way of knowing what I was saying. Perfect.
I was let down because I was like, oh, he finished.
It was only the closest marathon in history. I was let down by
you're
the experience.
allowed. Yeah, you're allowed to say OMG. It was very exciting. I put my kids to bed. I brought Lewis back into the room. I was like, little boys, you're going to sleep. Lewis, you got to watch this with me because you've been invested.
You lucky dog.
And so, I was sitting on my Mobo board, like working on my Achilles, watching the race. And, this is just, it was so good. I mean, I was screaming. I was so excited.
Running Nerds Unite. Yeah, I mean, I was also as hopeful for Clayton that like maybe he would find some tangent line that the other guys like. He kept running tangents that you're like.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was like, I want to compare the Strava accounts to see who ran shorter, because he kept going a different tangent line. I'm like, does he know something that other people don't know? But like, I'm like, all right, hold on. These other people are also like incredible athletes. Like, also like
They've also done their homework.
In addition, even if say you like get like an extra less of like one step less, like you're also sacrificing the drafting, because now all of a sudden you're not in the pack. So I guess scientifically, if you're a scientist and you're listening to this, first of all, thank you, because you must hate the stuff that we say. But secondly, I'd love to know like the difference there in terms of like which one's the better move, like to be like 100% precise. Let's just assume that he was doing the right thing from a precision angle perspective. But is it worth it to leave the pack and lose the drafting?
Matt, there's so much nuance in your question. It matters how much probably matters your body weight, how tall you are, your mental, like,
Lindsay's a scientist.
Are you better
here.
running alone?
I like the pack. What I loved is a pack all together entering the final mile. That turns us all into like, what are we, like reading body language experts?
Yeah, body language doctors. That's the only doctor I am.
Yeah.
The exciting race, though, the men's finish, where I could not believe. I thought Germany had it for sure. But when I was watching it, I was like, I just want to be bronze. I just want to be the guy that was bronze because he knew he had bronze locked in. He
Oh,
wasn't in that to the death fight. He
yeah.
was happy he was medaling. I'm like, that's where I'd want to be. Happy to be
The
there.
German dude, why am I blanking on his name? I look it up.
Petros.
He is he's a character. He's on social
He was
media quite a
funny
bit, and he
afterwards.
shows up in a lot of other people's accounts because he trains in
Yeah.
these camps.
I
And
learned about
yeah,
him from other people's videos. He's in
yeah,
everyone's videos.
he's a dude. But I don't know. I mean, I was glad that he seemed to be able to be very, very happy right after. I thought that
First, he
maybe,
seemed devastated, like
yeah,
very
he
upset,
looked
but then he was
around.
like joking around.
Just get to the line. Kids, if you're listening, if your parents are letting you listen to this fucking podcast, make sure you don't look around in the final 100. Just
That's what
pick.
the energy that it took to
Just
turn.
go.
Oh,
Urgency. Yeah. Drive to the home. But okay, I just want to document for posterity's sake how the hours that Lindsey Hein spent texting us about Susanna Sullivan.
she just feels so that relatable is the worst word. I'm just trying to she
She's a
doesn't
teacher.
feel like untouchable like some of the other pros. I don't know. Maybe it's it's just because I've talked to her so many times. But like, the first time I met Susanna Sullivan, I was out for a run on the Chicago lakefront, and like she flagged me, like she said hi to me, and she was like, "Hey," just like so outgoing and friendly, and I just love her so much. So when I was trying to explain this to my kids, I was like, when you feel like you actually know someone, like haven't just interviewed her once, I've interviewed her several times. I've talked to her in person several times. I just felt like a friend was putting herself out there and betting on herself. And I told you guys when was texting, I was like, I'm going to cry if she stays in that top 5. And I was teary because I just couldn't believe it. Like, she knew that pack was gonna come back. She knew they were gonna come back, and she knew she just had to be really mentally strong when they did, and that's what she said in her post-race interview.
Mm.
Um, and, they kept showing her face, and, like, she was grimacing. She was doing that thing with her tongue where Matt was like, "Maybe she's really dehydrated." I mean, she was working hard so early in that race, and even just like wondering, can she hang on or
Yeah.
is she going to be crawling to the finish in 25th place? 4th place after running so much alone, knowing that huge pack is going to come for you. I just I'm so impressed.
I mean, she had her team out. It was good. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I was in the chat. I was of the opinion that she would probably have, again, the circumstances were different, but maybe a very similar race that like CJ Albertson had. CJ was in the front pack, and obviously later in the race, the heat got to him, and he fell back, ends up running 2:19, which obviously is not a CJ Albertson race. And I thought something similar would happen because it was even hotter for the women's race. It was a 76 dew point. It was
It was so
gross.
and 85 degrees.
Yes,
Like,
it
I
was
mean,
gross out there.
unbelievable.
She's out there alone. And you're like, okay, like, does she know something that other people don't? Is she that much stronger? Like, this is like, it was a very interesting tactic. And when she was caught, again, there's no way of knowing this in the moment because they don't have the splits on the screen or anything like that. She never slowed down. She ran an almost perfectly split race. It seemed like she slowed down because she got past like 2 people were on a freaking motorbike, went past her. But she never slowed down. And this is like Des Linden just talked about this, recapping Boston many times. She goes, people think that I speed up and slow down. I always run the same speed. It's everyone else who's speeding up and slowing down. And that was what happened to Susanna. And I was just the toughness and grit to basically even split and with like a minute lead on a course like that. And I mean, the course wasn't hard, but like in conditions like that was wild. I think there is something to be said for all those 180-degree turns. I feel like if you're struggling,
Oh my
like,
gosh, those
it must be hard to get
turns.
like back up to speed to come from like almost like a dead stop to then get right back at it, especially if you're like if you're really starting to be on tilt. Her mental toughness in that situation was shocking to me because I was just so impressed that she hung on, and she was in 5th, then clawed back to 4th. I mean, she didn't just like only lose a couple spots. She was in 5th, got back to 4th. It was remarkable. Kudos to her. Everyone in that race obviously is super tough and all of that. Like, there's no disrespect to anyone there, but I just that was something else. I couldn't believe it.
Well, that and like I think it was just so much pre-planning in her brain like she knew they were gonna come. Like the likeliness of them coming was so high, and so she had to know, I will not let this defeat me. I will not let this like ruin my spirits. And the fact that only 3 people ended up beating her then.
It was
So
interesting.
now we have to talk about Julia.
Well, hold on a second. Before we do, like, let's think about like how think about how Asefa and Paris, like their strategy, like they came through the half.
They
like,
knew too. They were talking a little bit.
Essentially, like 8 minutes slower than they normally would. Like they were very, very conservative. And Susanna, not that she was on PR pace, but her pacing wasn't a whole lot different than it would have been on another day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was.
Well, she did run at 2:28 and her PR is like 2:21. That is pretty significant.
Right, but Asefa's PR is 2:11.
Right, I know. I looked that up. I was like, this is crazy.
That works. That's helpful.
And my hope was that she got out far enough, Meb style, Boston 2014. That was my hope. Maybe she got out far enough. They're not respecting her enough, like to think like, oh, we're gonna get her no matter what, and they just can't catch her in time.
So she split 1:12:58, and she was ahead of Paris and Asefa by a minute and 2 seconds. So I mean, actually, that's where the course kind of matters, because Meb classically at Boston, other people have done it over time. If you can squeak away and they can't really see you, and you start to lose hope, versus a 180 where you're like, they're right there. I know.
Yeah. Oh, 1:12:58. I gotcha. I thought it was 1:13:58. So that's why I was saying it was such an even split. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was an epic race. I think I just was so pumped for her because the World Championship is not the deepest marathon in the world, and so go big or go home. Like, like you have to set appropriate goals for yourself, but I would so much prefer someone put it out there, run a race that plays to their strengths, put themselves in position, than just be like, oh, I finished X and I'm that number in the world. Don't look into how many people are going to New York or Chicago or Berlin over the next 2 months. It's just it's a racer's race, so you got to get in, put your nose into it.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I literally was just talking to Amanda Vestry about this. I interviewed her for All of Another right before this. Is like the kind, like, do you want a race where you're like sitting with the group for 20 miles and then you have to like bust out this 10K that you don't have the leg speed for, but they do? Or do you just like Kellen Taylor has talked about this, like, or do you just want to like run your race the whole time? Because if you're running with these people that can then go turn over like a 15 flat 5K at the end of a marathon, and you just can't do that, then you're screwed, because like you've stayed with the group. But if you run your own race the entire time, maybe you've gotten away enough that you can.
And you're running,
but it's a weird strategy because you're alone.
Your strength. Yeah. It's like Kellen on TV in New York, and Matt and I debating how good she looks. And you're like, does she have it? Does she not? And then the lead women just like explode off the front. You're like, I mean, she's still running well, but yeah.
I mean, the self-confidence that Susanna had to have had is like something that I just can't relate to. Like, for her to be like, you know what?
None of us can.
Like, I'm a minute up on Asefa and Paris at the half. Be like, everything's going exactly right. Be like, wow.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, Susanna, because like that is, I mean, those are two of the best of the best. You're a minute up at half in horrible conditions. It's just like, again, I take my hat off to her, because I would have been second guessing myself on every single step if I was in that situation.
Well, because like, if you compare it to the following day, where I know a lot of, I don't know personally, but I follow a lot of the men in the lead pack. I'm fans of like, Yassine Abdallah from Sudan, who I was texting about. He's a young guy, and like, it just keeps being like, oh, these conditions are awful and the marathon's super hard, but can I just get back with the pack? Cam Levins got detached and reattached over and over again, whereas Susanna's just out there every stride trying to maintain a pace and not fall apart. So, pretty remarkable. I don't totally understand how our third placer, Julia, it made for an amazing moment that will be set to, dramatic music for all of time, where she finds out crossing the line that she's in third place and she's a bronze medalist. I would have thought someone might yell to her, "You're in third place," but this happens in
How did
these
she
races.
not know?
She was also down quite a bit at halfway, like
She
well over
was
a minute, but
shocked.
yeah,
She
totally
was
dumbfounded.
truly shocked. Like, she's looking around like, "What?"
I mean, at first I thought she was shocked, like, "OMG, I can't believe that happened. I'm so excited." And then it became clear she's like, "No, I actually don't know what place I am in. You're telling me I'm in third place? Like, that's amazing." Uh,
Well, what's crazy about that is if she didn't think she was in third. So if you thought that bronze was on the line, you'd probably have your ass in gear a little more looking back like, is somebody coming? Like, is somebody close behind me? But instead, she's like, I'm in fifth or sixth. Like, I'm finishing this race as hard as I can. But like, she didn't know a medal was on the line at that point. That's crazy. It's Julia Patternane. How
Pattern
do you
Yeah, pattern
Yeah,
Michigan.
Patternane. And interestingly, she is from Uruguay, but she trains in Flagstaff, and McCurdy train coach Jack is her coach.
Jack
Sounds like Chrissy
Porecki.
Gear got her in, convinced her to like stick with running. I know I'm still, we need to get more of this story, but it sounds
You know
yeah.
what? When I messaged Julia to see if she'd come on my podcast, I think I'm interviewing her next Monday. I did throw out Chrissy Gear was just on my podcast because I saw
Yeah.
that they were. I was like, I saw that they were friends, so maybe that'll make her be like, okay, this girl is like a normal person. But
Friends,
yeah,
if you have not received a DM from Lindsey Hein, you should feel bad about yourself. She's deep in the DMs.
I'm deep in the DM queen.
I will say this:
Um,
the Flagstaff crew seemed to be genuinely elated for her. She seems
Oh yeah,
like not only like, hey, we know this person. Hey, we see this person on the trails. It's like this person is the nicest person around. Like it was interesting to see just the genuine love for her from the Flagstaff community because everyone trains in Flagstaff. Like there's no shortage of people you can call out if you're a Flagstaff resident or if you're like someone who's there pretty
Yeah, people pass
consistently from a
through.
training perspective. But just the outpouring of like, holy cow, this is great. We love her so much. Like I was genuinely shocked. I did not know her very well. I knew that McCurdy trained coach, had her. Jack's a great guy and I know he's a well thought of guy. But it was cool to see the outpouring of support that she got, especially from people who were like, hey, like, that they were also rooting for Susanna. Like, these are American, these are people who are hoping to be on Team USA or had been on Team USA in the past who were like, couldn't be happier for this person. Like, wow, okay.
and it was only her second marathon.
That's like the theme, right? The theme of the last like 10 years is like, there's no such thing. Like, who cares about experience? Like, just like, it's amazing how many like newbies or like second timers just go out and rip it.
Jess McLean looked like she was having the time of her life, even though she had to feel like she just had to feel so bad because it was so hot. Like, I know she does well in the heat, but she looked like she was having the time of her life, had a great race. And then, of course, Erica, we love you. I hate that you did not have the day you wanted to have. And we will definitely, obviously, get the breakdown from Erica here on the podcast. But we were definitely texting about our girl Erica the whole time, too. And
I got
big
that
hugs to
photos
you.
early on with three of them running, stride for stride together. Team USA, Team Brooks, they were rocking it. And then, big props to any marathoner who goes, "Uh-oh, today is not my day, and I'm going to have to tough out." I mean, she's probably never run that long in her life. So welcome to the new longest distance she's ever.
And I'll say, it seems like she's enjoying her World Championship experience. She posted some photos today of her like in the stands, watching the meet from earlier today. I think she like had a beer in her hand. She was like raising it up to like a camera, like, like I think we've all been there where races don't go well, and to do it on an international stage, probably feels even worse. But the fact that she's still able to enjoy herself around friends, like, kudos to her. And again, we talked earlier about Susanna, such an easy person to like. Like we've had two people on this, podcast who felt the same way. Like Laura Thweet and Erica Kemp, like two gems of people who are pros who run at the highest level. And like, it's so easy to root for to Erica as well.
Did Kara run? The announcer? Kara was a runner? Yeah.
Remember when she was on the Relay podcast and before
she's got some...
Des stole her from us?
I know. Des just listened to the relay and said, like,
Des.
"Thank you. I'll have another." Here we go. Um,
All right, I want to go. I know
the
we've hopscotched back and forth a little bit here.
yeah.
And understandably so, because both of these marathons were incredible to watch.
We're so
Also,
excited.
no commercials. Again, we had to flash a little bit to the 1500 meter, which was an inopportune time, but compared to telecasts we've seen of other marathons, 10 out of 10. Like 10 out of 10. There was no fluff. I couldn't even hear the announcers, which maybe that was a good thing. I can't even tell because like the microphones in the crowd like drowned out the announcer's microphone, like in both marathons. Like I could barely hear what they were saying. But I will say this, like, it was great to see a marathon without commercials. Kudos to that. I want to
They
mention
did cut
something.
to the 15. What were they cutting to in the men's marathon? They cut to something.
Yeah, it was the
Some
shot
field
put.
Hammer
event.
throw.
Hammer throw.
I was glad to see that though, because we had the regular like uproar about like, oh, of course you're cutting away at the end of the women's marathon, but they did it to the men too.
Yeah, you could tell it was pre-programmed. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they cut away from the women's like when there was actual like, there's about to be a pass. Like we're going to the track.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's go see the prelims of the 15.
Right. So one thing I wanted to mention, because I'm sure people may not have caught it. As the men's leaders were about to head underneath and into the stadium, all right, under the overpass into the stadium, they take a hard 90-degree left turn at that point. Now, the truck that is filming the leaders at that point turns off a slight right and comes off the track. It comes off the course because they're not going to go onto the track in the stadium. So at that point, Petros has the lead. He takes the left that you're supposed to take that we saw the women take the day before. Simbu follows the truck. He's like staying to the right. And he doesn't turn. You can see, I think you can see someone in the truck like waving, like, no.
Like, no.
I think he looks to the left and sees Petros, like, now he's like 20 yards away, taking the left into the stadium. So he takes an even harder left to find Petros. And again, there's no way of knowing. I'm sure he would have won either way. But you have to wonder if that little mini snafu didn't cause like that little bit of adrenaline that could have been the difference.
Oh yeah.
Because like all of a sudden you're like, like, I'm sure Petros got everything out of his body as well, but you wonder if like that little mini snafu got that little 0.001% of adrenaline that was still in there and got it kicking.
I don't know. It was funny to see him because coming onto the track, which I think is always an interesting distinguisher, like it's actually decently difficult, particularly with a fatigued brain, to gauge whether you have like 80 meters, 110 meters, 45 meters left to that line. Whereas if you're on a track, you're like very used to, okay, I know exactly how many steps I have left, because he looked kind of asleep. Like it just like was like, where's the urgency? The fact that he could be world champion. Oh, there it is. Okay. And now he goes.
I will say this though. I'm guessing that when they were mapping out this course and they're trying to figure out their sponsorship signage, I'm sure they never in a million years thought that one, if not both races, were going to come down to a sprint finish where they have now tapered the final like 100 meters. So someone can't just come off the turn and just go. They have to like follow the cones to the middle of the track. Like you could tell, I forget if it was the men's or women's race. It kind of caught someone off guard because you could tell that they were like barely mentally processing at that point. It was just a matter of like, keep my legs moving for God's sake. Like their vision was probably like the width of a pinhole at that point. And like, they were like, wait, what's going on to this track?
What's going on?
But it was even more fun, I think, in retrospect, to not have the photo finish camera, like to have that sense of like, who won the race?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, because the guy who I think got passed is the guy who's holding the tape. So what just happened?
You want to say like, we know so much about this sport. And like, again, we were about to have dinner. And so my son's there with his friends and they're like, whoa. And then they show it again and we go, whoa. And then they're like, well, how do they decide? How do they know? And I literally wasn't sure what to say because I don't actually know. I was like, the camera, well, no, that camera might not be on. And I'm like, because that's the finish line camera for a track race. It is the chest, except for that, like you pin a chest bib. I mean, we would have to get someone even geekier than us to identify where the official is standing who makes the call, because there are cameras. But
when they slowed the video down, you could tell he had it.
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't. Yes, it was. It wasn't to the thousandth of a second where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna have to get a insane camera like the Omega camera to show, but you are like, I actually don't know how it's decided.
Listen, if it was PE class, y'all would have tied.
Yeah,
So that's
no,
how
then you have
close
to
it
play
was.
rock, paper, scissors to just be like, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna settle this right here.
Not that I cared, because I was rooting for both Sembu and Petros. I didn't have a dog in the fight in terms of who I was rooting for. I would say I would have been heartbroken if Sembu lost by that differential, knowing what happened on the final turn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then the
see.
second guessing that he would
Like,
have
what if I
felt the
hadn't
rest of his life. Like, if I had just
I
Sure.
followed the truck.
stayed to the left, would I have won?
That's
But
what I always wonder.
But now the Germany guy is going to be like, if I had just not wasted my energy looking to my right.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I mean, at least in that case, it's like, all right, that's just something that just
Yeah.
goes with racing. The other one is like
Totally.
an unfortunate.
You don't want to be like
situation.
the guy who, like, when he walks away from a social situation years from now, the guy goes, he's the guy who followed the truck.
Yeah.
And, he could have been world champ, but he was
He
second. Like
could
that.
have had a
That's
gold
tough.
medal.
Those things live with you. There was a 1500 meter at the Rio Olympics where Matthew Centrowitz ran exceedingly slowly, very tactically sound, and he won. And the way it's told by the professional runners is that like got under the skin of the Europeans so much that they were like, that's it. From now on, like for the foreseeable future, we are going to race fast. Like we're not going to leave it up to this little ticky-tacky tactical stuff. We are going to just hammer. And that's become the way that the races have gone down the last 8 years. I'm hopeful that the Ethiopians are going to get together and go, you're telling me that annoying ass Frenchman won? The dude who like hurdles the finish line tapes and he likes to like taunt the crowd. Like we let him win, and they're like, we are Ethiopia, and the Kenyans are probably similar, and the Ugandans are similar, and they're like, okay, one of us has got to lead this damn race. Like we can't. This 10K has become like not even a 100-meter kick. It's like a 75-meter kick, and I'm like, guys, I don't know what you're doing. You're all super
fun
fast
to watch.
Yeah,
I
like,
want to watch a race, not a sprint.
This is
People
why in this race, this is going to be my thing. When you make, all right, let's I'm going to change sports for a second. When the basketball dream teams are made, it's not just the 12 best players. Numbers 10, 11, and 12 have to be people who understand that they might not play in a game, that they might have a very specific and small role in the endeavor and are happy to be there. Usually this means they're on the younger side, that they're getting an experience that they can build on in the future. Not that some of these teams should sacrifice a spot, but I do wonder from a team perspective if some of these teams would be better served picking their two best runners and then picking someone they say, hey,
yeah,
you're going to go out and make sure that this is an honest race. Again, if you can hold the lead and win, great. But your primary responsibility is to make sure that this is an honest race so that something doesn't befall our team that we could have prevented.
I mean,
And
I
so that the
assume
fans
everyone
can
was
enjoy it.
following this sport in 1996. Weren't they following the sport in 1996 when the Ethiopians let it out for Haile Gebrselassie at the Atlanta Olympics? Come on.
And Bob Kennedy was there, and he got sixth,
he was
I
there,
think.
and Bob was in the 5K. Yes. I mean, I'm just sitting there going, are you guys not friends? You all speak, your own, like, you could speak in different languages that the other guys might not even understand. Just do something other than when I actually think it defies when we start to talk about 10K runners' ability to finish the last 50 as though they're 800-meter runners, then like all of our words are meaningless. It's like, well, he had a really good, and you're like, what? Tactically, like
it's almost like watching 16 people stuck in the prisoner's dilemma on national television.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
So then how does that change your training strategy? Like, what are we working on? We're just working on, like, we're doing 20 by 200.
Well, that's
it
really just comes down to like, all right, someone on the selection of these teams has to be like, this isn't happening again. If we have to go with two and then a pacer, then that's what we're going to do, because we're not going to let it come down to our guys not getting a chance to win, because instead of having a team strategy, we have three people with individual strategies.
I mean, yeah, you would think that it's often been described like almost in a slightly negative tone, like, oh, I bet, the Ethiopians are working together. I bet the Kenyans are working together. And you're like, but it's making a great
Yeah,
race. I
it's a
mean,
team
like,
event. It's a team sport.
yeah,
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
like he finished 13th. The Frenchman Gracier finished 13th at the Paris Olympics. Like, that was a
Wow.
very fast finished race, but it was 2 minutes faster than this weekend. And I know, like, a
2
lot of,
minutes? That's
yeah. I
crazy.
mean, the conditions were much better. Like,
Sure.
we should put a warning at the top of this show, which is just like, none of us want to run our hardest in the conditions in Tokyo. Like,
Woo!
easy to be,
No.
Well, this is just the way
microphone
it goes with the World
warriors.
Championships, though. I mean, literally, like
Yeah,
they're not choosing like, hey, we're going to Toronto for the World Championships, like picking
there we
like
go.
something not so close to the equator. Again, maybe who knows? Maybe Japan. I mean, maybe Tokyo isn't this muggy the second week of September every year. But we knew what we were getting out of Doha. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's true. I mean, that said, the women made it look a lot more honest with Tibet,
Oh yeah,
really pushing it.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, the women's race. Who you expected to be there in the top 4 were there.
yeah. So it makes it more fun. Oh, we have a lot of passion. By the time we talk next, for next week, we will have covered so much will have unfolded.
One last
what
thing.
haven't we?
One last thing. I'll do it quick because these are quick races. The both 100-meter dashes were fantastic. I mean, the
Yes.
women's 10.61 is it, and I always transpose it in my mind, and then when I overthink it, I always get it wrong. Wooden Jefferson, Jefferson
way?
Wooden. Either way,
Mm.
fourth fastest
Yeah.
time or fourth fastest individual of all time, blew the doors off the competition. She's been doing it all year. I mean, kudos to her. Kudos to Michael Johnson saying it before. He said before, like, I don't think people need to peak. You're just always ready to go. She was that in 2025. She didn't peak. She was awesome the whole way through. Kudos to her. Also, I never thought that I would see Noah Lyles get a good start, not passable,
Yeah.
not average, a good start and not win. And that is exactly what happened. He ran that race very well. He got out of the blocks, maybe the best I've ever seen in 100. And the two guys from Jamaica just ran better. And kudos to them. I mean, shoot, Kenny, he was 2 steps ahead of Kenny at the 20-meter mark. Like, Noah ran incredibly well. He has nothing to be ashamed of. Those other 2 guys just absolutely blasted that race. And again, I never thought I was going to see Noah in the peak of his career get beat when he started like that.
Just straight roasted.
So I don't know where I was. I wasn't watching that race. I was doing something. And I'm more interested in Kenny and Noah's interaction post-race than the race itself.
You know what? I'm actually, to build off that, I found myself viscerally excited because I just like Oblique Seville. Like, I just think he seems like kind of just a fun dude. He's the shortest guy ever to win the 100. He seems like a guy who both doesn't get any respect, but he's not overly built with these storylines. I found myself, I mean, if you've been listening to Relay for a while, you know that there's been a lot of back and forth about Jamaica and, and against Noah. And, when Marcus used to be able to attend our calls more, we would give each other trash. But I found myself, to be honest, like, not really cheering for Noah. Like, I just was excited for Oblique Seville to finally show up. Oblique's been getting roasted online in all these, like, videos that I come across of, like, how slowly he starts. So he had the best the best reaction time, maybe not the best first 15 meters. And
I love watching Thompson. Thompson's huge.
Yeah.
Thompson looks like, hey, one of the guys from the NFL stepped onto the track. Like,
Absolutely.
He is a very big person. He is tall. He is broad. He is muscular. He definitely he doesn't have the same haircut as Asafa Powell, but he has like the same body type as Asafa Powell. Asafa was just an enormous individual. He has that same vibe, but a much cooler hair. And he is just force personified. You watch Thompson run, you're like, this person, like, there's a great stat for the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, where they basically combine the speed plus the person's size. And I remember this, like, because like a couple years ago, Xavier Worthy ran like 4.22, but he's like 165 pounds. And then Brian Thompson Jr. ran like a 4.23. And he's like 230 pounds. You're like, this is not the same.
Awesome.
Like, this person has like an extreme amount of force compared to this other person who weighs like 50 pounds less. And it reminded me of that watching Thompson run again. Again, I've always felt this way watching him, but in this race again, he's blasting Noah Lyles. You're like, this man's enormous, and I can't believe what I'm watching.
So it's fun to see both the Jamaicans, two different sizes, like big brother, little brother. Like, how'd he get away? If you have a chance, go to the Citius Mag. They collaborated on a post with Kaboom Mag where some of the Jamaicans athletes set up a phone to record themselves watching the race, and it involves them celebrating such to the point where one man just flips the table
I saw
and his
That's
camera
so
goes
good.
flying, and you're like, if you're not flipping tables for your teammates, like, you're not trying hard enough, like, you're not really
Well
there
said.
for them. But yeah, these races are so fun and so much unpredictability. I mean, I don't know what else is played out. It's just like
Wait, you haven't answered my question
your question.
about their interaction.
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what?
Oh,
I didn't watch it
They
live.
weren't on
I
camera.
watched the
okay.
the clip.
I can't be the only one who's curious about that.
Well, no, neither of them won.
Drama
So it's
queen.
kind of like, I think they both have enough wherewithal to be like,
Yeah,
all right.
like Noah was clapping and Kenny was out of frame because he finished fourth. So it's like,
But they both ran sub 10. They both ran well.
Yeah, I had grown tired of the drama between them. Like, I'm just like,
Well, for sure. But I was still curious.
I'm not against drama. I'm not against intrigue, but I was just like, okay, guys, give it up. Like, just, you're gonna get steamrolled, and then they did. No, it's like I was cheering for both of them in some sense. I think I'm tiring. Noah is going through a maturation period. He's like changing his hair and changing his message, and I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like I've been trying hard to be a fan, and I just wanted to cheer like full-throatedly for my little teeny Superman.
No, I was going to say the race that we haven't talked about yet is the women's 1500. Nikki Hiltz and Sinclair Johnson both through to the finals. I was so sad. Emily Mackay, she must have been off because she just did not ever really look herself in that race.
Not really sure.
Yeah. Nikki, I felt like just eased on through the finish line, like medal contention looking.
Yeah,
for
they're at a completely different level. Their improvement over the last 5 years is just like, it's been almost linear. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
Every time you think they're at the peak, it's like, nope, better this year, and I'm better this year, and now I'm better this year. It has been really cool to watch.
And Sinclair looked really strong too. Like, it didn't look as much of an ease as Nikki, but she looked strong. Like, I have more to give now.
Yeah.
With that said, I think Faith,
I'll be up early.
Faith and Sydney are in the same realm of like, if you have Faith or the field from a gambling perspective, I would choose Faith. It's just like if Sydney's racing, if it's like Sydney or the field, give me Sydney. So
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
who's the other shoe-in though, other than Faith? I was texting you guys about that because, like, I do think Nikki is a medal contender for sure.
For sure.
Behind Faith, but like, is there anybody else? Like, are there other runners that I'm not thinking of that are just like, oh yeah? Well, Jess Hole
has like been hammering and been, at Prefontaine she was close, and then she got dropped in the final 250, but like,
she's had a great year. No question about it.
She's had a great year. Yeah.
Like, she's for sure, I would say huge medal contender there. And then Lyndon Hall, I feel like she's usually up there.
I mean, this is where it's hard to know what exactly to take from the prelims.
I know. Like,
Nelly Chepchirchir is the winner of Heat 2, but you're like, okay, but how much were other people,
I want to know, like, who was cruising in to be that top
that's what we get to
and
find.
who was like,
And as we described in the men's race, like, the tactics for a prelim are slightly different. But the problem is Faith doesn't need tactics. She's just like, okay, I'm going to go to the front.
She's just like, I'm the best.
Yeah, she just goes around and runs if she just goes and runs a 3:49. It doesn't matter what anyone else does.
Yeah, she's like, bye, see you later.
I think I don't know. I'm excited. Oh man, no, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm going to roll over at 5 a.m. and be like, time to make some coffee. Here we go.
I mean, I'm never going to be that excited. I was up at 4 this morning, but not for that reason.
Oh no.
Before we get going, everybody go over to Road to the Trials Season 4. Make sure you subscribe. If not on Spotify, we're also doing video on Spotify and on YouTube, so you can listen and or watch to Road to the Trials. That season is getting off with a bang.
Wait.
And Berlin's coming around the corner, so we're about to have some people qualifying very soon. You're going to be able to hear their stories this week. We got Mike Duggan coming up on the podcast, and he was one of the last people to qualify for the last trials. He did it at CIM, so the last day of the window, and he barely got it by like 1 second. And it was a fun conversation Peter and I had with him last week. So you'll have the chance to listen to someone who barely got it last time, hear that story, and then hear about how, like, hey, how does it feel to be like embarking on having to run now 2 minutes faster this time around for someone who just barely squeaked in last time? So it was funny. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Do you
it's
see
gonna
how
be
I
awesome.
feel when I feel like Matt's like trying to say bye right now? He's like, I'm wrapping this up. I'm pitching
wrapping
Road
it
to the
up.
Trials. We're out of here. And I'm like,
You
I'm
know
not
what's-
done yet.
You know what's popular is like the 2 hour and 20-minute podcasts. Those have become very popular. So settle on in, friends. Settle on in. We got an afternoon to go.
Well, and if you
no, I'm-
like this, it's the 3 of us on Road to the Trials. So if you like what we're putting out here today,
I'm super excited for yeah. I mean, this begins. Matt is waving to us, but like we
See,
begin.
that's why he was trying to wrap up.
Yeah, his kids screaming at him. But like the idea that it's gonna be oh man. Did you ever get one of those toys that was a ball of paper
Okay.
and it's like one big streamer, and you would unwrap it, and as you unwrapped a circumference of the almost like pinata paper, little toys would fall out. It'd be like a little toy horse, and then like a little
I'm not
my
familiar
parents.
with this toy.
Okay, I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes or something. That's something
Okay.
people do. But that's how I feel about this 2.5 year build to the marathon trials. I'm like, this weekend is like the first unraveling of.
It is.
I just checked the weather for Berlin. It does not look quite as cool as I would wish for, but like marathoners impress, they show up, and we're going to get to see. I mean, while simultaneously we're emailing people to get Mebreton Kofleski on the pod because Meb is a qualifier.
Meb.
Yeah, I love the Meb. Like Meb's in full dad mode. Like we got the message back.
He's interested, but he's coaching his kids cross country season.
Yeah, he's got some after school commitments. So could you check back after the kids cross country season?
New season.
All right. Because guess what? We got time. We'll just tuck that back in the folder and we'll get back to it in a few months.
Well, we got a new qualifier that I just talked to, Amanda Vestry. She'll be on the list after New York.
Hey, she's a first-time marathoner. We're not going to count chickens before they're hatched. She's a very good runner.
She is not going to run unless she's sick or injured. She's not going to run.
Lindsay's
slower
manifesting
than
all the
2:37.
wrong energy. I'm just saying.
Girlfriend's going to run 2:25. Okay.
Okay. All right. Have you ever gone do you recall your first marathon and thinking like I've made some horrible decisions? Where was your first marathon?
My first marathon was the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon in 2008.
Nice.
And I kind of killed it. So
see then see that's well, you're basically a professional athlete. You don't have the very
Peter,
common experience of
I was
no.
wearing a Timex watch.
Yeah,
I just looking at the time, didn't even know what pace I was running, and left my husband in the dust.
Yes.
And just I mean,
this explains a lot about you and your relationship to the marathon.
You can run a good marathon at your first go.
Amanda Vestry is not going to be taking a yellow cab from Fifth Avenue, but I mean, it's the marathon it really hurts, and if
it will humble you.
It will humble you.
I think she's gonna kick butt, and she was going on about the nutrition and fueling strategy she has, which is just like, I mean, us everyday amateur peeps, like the game has changed. It's also changed for the pros, and like fueling every 5K, not just taking fluids every 5K, fueling every 5K. I mean, so I'm super excited about that.
We don't see as many bonks as we used to, like just glorious stumbling home.
They're getting calories every 20 minutes, and there's no time to bonk.
they're just yeah, exactly. It's like playing with kid gloves now. Come on, it's the marathon.
Come
What did
on.
Des said that she wants to make it like 30 miles to make it more of a,
Ooh, more
strength
of like a
runners
little bit of
race.
a yeah.
People who are anti super shoe think we should make it longer. No, it's going to be very exciting. I don't know, and some new names I'm sure will surprise us, and then we'll have them by saying we're going to interview everyone. I feel like it is
We'll get them
our
all.
yeah, it's our way of saying like, no, 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 you think you aren't sure about podcasts, but like all your friends are doing it, so come on,
I think we'll
come
get
on
them all.
on.
There's a few that'll be challenging. Amy Craig's gonna be hard to get on, but we have
Those
two and a
people,
half
you mean?
we have 2.5 years. Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
you emailed Shalane right when I saw she had posted an Instagram story from like altitude camp with her team, and I'm like,
I
lady is busy.
the
Maybe she'll
first
get
time
back to you.
but the first time I emailed her, they were
Yeah,
not at altitude camp yet.
that's
That
true.
was a follow-up email.
Yeah. I don't know. I respect did I tell you about this? I was telling someone about this. I listened to an interview with Benny Blanco, the music
Mm,
producer, and
mhm.
he's like, back when I did email, I don't do email anymore. And I'm like, damn, what a flex. Like,
So, like his assistant does his email for him, is that what he
or
says?
maybe he turned his email account off. Like, that'd be the best
But
way.
how do you, just texting, I guess. I mean, I will say I did start using when I slip into someone's DMs, I pretty much almost always say, if texting's easier, here's my
Sure.
number.
Oh, that's good.
Like Julia, our third place finisher, I did that and I messaged her on Instagram at 4:30 this morning and she
Okay.
texted me within 10 minutes.
She
She just
texted,
texted me.
she moved. Wow. The relationship has evolved rapidly.
She didn't even DM she didn't even
Yeah.
Instagram me back. She just texted me. That is also how I got Matt James on my podcast 2 years ago, the Bachelor guy.
Yeah.
I slid into his Twitter DMs. See, Twitter
Yeah. That
or
used to be
Threads or
more.
whatever it used to be, that you're more likely to get someone though because their Twitter DMs are probably less flooded than their
Oh,
Instagram DMs.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Because it's
that
not
was
like
a strategy
responding.
to be had. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Um,
there should be some little overlay, which is like, how you don't see the
yeah.
DM from someone you're not
Yeah,
following.
you're not yeah.
It should be like, but what was the second half split of their marathon? And then you could be like, I want to, you know, prove my
Yeah,
geekiness. I'm a real runner nerd here. I'm not like just some bot, you know.
yeah.
No, because
Um,
there's going to be a lot of people we need to hit up who we don't really know.
maybe that's the Benny Blanco way though. He's just like
Yeah, he gets hit up
we just have to
by too many
operate
people.
by phone instead of
But
email.
Matt James he runs marathons, sort of. I don't really
He
understand.
does.
He's a
I mean, I don't
bachelor.
think he went sub 3, but I think he ran like 3:02 or something. Yeah, he was on The Bachelor, and he was with Rachel for a long time, and they broke up, and she went on Call Her Daddy and spilled the beans that he broke up
Dear.
with her while they were in Japan,
Ooh,
and
that's awkward.
then she just hopped on a flight back to America, and her phone died, and she was like, "Well, I guess we're broken up now," and
I
anyway,
have a
it
story
was
like that. I have
it was
actually
pretty
so I had a story where I was dating a girl, and then the night before I went to Europe, someone I feel like threw water in someone's face, my buddy's face, like at a party. We were just being silly, and then he responded by I was sitting in a chair and he poured a whole pot of water over my head. Like it was like a shower and I was drenched.
and you're at a party.
And I'm at a party and now I'm totally soaking wet and my phone got soaked. This is pre iPhone. And let's just say that this woman did not take kindly to not being texted back. And so,
Oh.
uh, I did not get her texts. I did not get her calls. She did not take kindly to that and proceeded to text and leave messages that she later regretted. Which, I didn't have a phone. And I think I ended up emailing her a couple hours later, like, hey, phone's dead. And phone was dead. And you have to remember, this is before like
It was your
iMessages like
Sprint
synced.
Razorback phone, yes.
Exactly. And so then I go to Europe and I just take the battery out of the phone and leave it in a bag. And I'm like, maybe they'll dry out over a 10-day period. I get back into America. I land at JFK. I plug the battery in and it reboots. And she'd been like, you might not want to listen to those those voicemails I left you 10 days ago.
This is like the Seinfeld episode where George is trying to sneak into the apartment and, like, steal the
Yeah,
answering machine.
take the answering machine. It just
And
used to
then
be
sh yeah.
easier. I don't know, or harder, or I don't know. Technology used to be different, but
The
oh
ladies
man,
need you to respond or do what you said you were gonna do. I remember
yeah,
one of the first times I was ever supposed to hang out with Glenn, we were, like, gonna hang out this night, and he just, like, didn't text me, and I was like, "Why isn't he texting me to hang out?" It was, like, 9:30 PM.
ghost.
But I was operating on a different timeline. Like, to me,
Okay,
even at 21, 9:30 was, like, getting close to bedtime, and he was just like, "What?" I was just, like, still playing video games with my roommates. I just, like, hadn't texted you
didn't.
yet.
Yeah, I was letting it simmer. I was
And
letting it
I was
smolder.
like, What do you mean I thought we were gonna, like, go bowling or something, you know? You
There
can't
we
leave
go.
the lady hanging."
Yeah, these are the types of questions that we need to work into our road to the trials interviews. Like,
That's
what
right.
style of tell me a good breakup story. I know that you just ran 235 as a female, but like, tell me about a time when you ghosted on someone accidentally.
That
These would be
is
great stories.
perfect. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys off with a book because that's what I like to do, and I can do what I want. Um, this is The Heiress. Is that how you say that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
because 'cause
believe.
I'm not from a rich family, so I will never be an heiress, but I don't know how to say that. The Heiress? Is
Only,
that how you say it?
I mean, some people know, even if you're, yeah.
Okay.
Um, when did you pick this up? This looks good. I don't
So
know.
I
Judging
was
a book by its cover.
volunteering at our kids' school, like, carnival thing, and, the options were like face painting, go fish,
Yeah.
limbo, tic-tac-toe, book table. And I was like,
Book table, nerd.
yeah, I do not want my hands all up on these kids' faces. I want to talk to the kids. I want to ask them who their teachers are. I want to be best friends, but I also don't want to be close to your face. So, and I love books. So anyway, the book table is just one ticket for a book, which is
Mm,
one ticket is $1. And so
wow.
I got this book, and
Awesome.
it's a, like, page turner already by Rachel Hawkins, The Heiress. Why do I wanna say the Heiress? The Heiress. It's The
Yeah.
Heiress.
Yeah. Well, you just want to pronounce it
Um,
incorrectly. That's okay.
so I just love giving book recommendations. What do you have, Peter? You gotta give us something.
I'm gonna go more low form than that. I want to reiterate. I sent this to the team yesterday during the race. Yassine Abdallah on YouTube. He has a video. The dream isn't what you
Mm.
think, and it was very touching to me back when I watched it the first time, and then I dialed it up yesterday and sent it to the crew and said, "Play this for your children." Basically, it's about the journey of being a collegiate running star, but realizing that friendship was like the core of the experience and what he'll remember. So, easy to say if you're like a NCAA All American that like being All American is not what you'll recall. Like that's like okay, easy for you to say, dude. But yeah, he's one of the best runners in America. Now he's a professional runner, and it's we are in a different era where YouTube is changing, sort of like cuts horizontally. You have like I can see all their finish times, and then you're like, but this one guy is telling dynamic stories in interesting ways. So Yassine Abdallah, and check him out. He's an interesting dude.
Okay, I have to say one more thing because of my fear of mispronouncing things. Because when I said heiress, and you're like, "Well, some people also aren't from rich families, and they know how to say it." Um, I got a message this morning. I saw this. Lindsay, I'm not usually this person, but on Relay,
Oh
when you
dear.
corrected Peter Bromka on pronouncing Dakota Popane's name,
Propane.
you also pronounce it wrong
Oh dear.
every time, and every time is in caps.
Thank you for
Da-
keeping us honest.
Dakota said Popin rhymes with propane. So propane, propane. I don't know. It's propane without the R per Dakota.
All
She doesn't
right.
crack you because she's so sweet. Sorry. Love all the podcasts you're on. I'll go back to my corner now.
No, appreciated. Whoever this
I
is,
did
you
say.
need, yeah, sit on
I
a
said
stool, and we need you in the corner, always aware, keeping us honest, because, I mean,
He did that well, though. I laughed. I said, "I had no idea. Thank you. Now I need to apologize to her. Thanks for listening." There's a good
Propane.
way and a bad way
Oh,
to jump into DMs like that.
because there's an H there. Yeah, plenty of uh, kind words there for sure.
I thought it was funny. I laughed
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
read it. And
That's
also, I'm like,
interesting.
"Oh, shoot. I did a live show with her. Did I say it wrong in the live show?"
That's not, yeah, wouldn't be a bad, you could get good at writing down things how they're supposed to be said phonetically. I mean, there's like a whole way of, how the dictionary works, like where you write stuff like, I know this, so that I don't know what that called. I need to look up what that is called. But yeah, you're right. Poppin' ain't it, and popin' ain't it. It's
Propane.
propane. All right.
Propane.
Yeah, go check
Propane. Because I
propane.
said
Yeah.
popin. You said propane. Wait, what did you say?
I said poppin'.
You said
I was
poppin. I said popin, and it's propane.
propane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. We
Good
love
to
you,
know.
Dakota.
Thank you. Thank you. All right,
All right,
friends.
friends.
Awesome.